It was a tragic day for employees at this McDonald's after their coworker and friend, just 16 years old, was shot and killed inside. Now, he was identified as Prince Ned. His family tells me he had only been working here for 2 months. Officer Tyler Mondovan is still at the hospital in critical condition, fighting for his life. Now, as doctors and medical staff are working around the clock to save his life, investigators still here on scene hours after the shooting. Now, with no charges filed against both officers, the key question is, were the actions of the officers consistent with the department's policy? An internal investigation into that is still ongoing. And this memorial, like many others in Uvalde, keep growing by the hour, is a testament that this community is not alone, but united in grief. When water comes rushing through so fast, there's nowhere you can go. And thankfully, this woman found a good spot where she can be. And, fire tells me that they're going to be able to hoist down, get her. Right now, it is 108 degrees, and the temperature on the surfaces is much higher than that. Here in the shade, you can see we have this thermometer. The temperature in the shade is about 130 degrees. Why here in Arizona? Why did you guys want to do this day today on your father's birthday?
Well, first of all, this is the most important issue in my judgment. It's tragic that over 60 years later, just about, we're still addressing this issue of voting. It should have been done.
So the fight's definitely not over.
Not over.
El reto Benadryl lleva meses circulando en la famosa plataforma de TikTok, pero no fue hasta reciente que una joven de 15 años murió tras una sobredosis.
Anger and disappointment are just a few of the words Jorge Vargas' brother used to describe how his family feels today. All this is new.
Yep, this is all brand new. This is a new road. This is all new fencing.
Response time, how did that look like before, and what does that look like now?
If we had a medical emergency on foot, it will take us at least an hour. Now, we can get here in 5 minutes.
And you guys have encountered children in this rural terrain?
As a matter of fact, yesterday we had a group.
One of the kicks landing after he was handcuffed. But what this did not show was why officers were arresting him.
A un panorama completamente distinto. Las calles justamente repletas de bomberos, mientras que residentes estaban fuera de sus casas sin poder hacer nada al respecto. Todos viendo cómo viviendas como esta quedaban así en cenizas. Ellos en los últimos minutos han confirmado que ya han contenido las llamas y exactamente están trabajando nada más en los puntos calientes. Si les puedo mostrar, justamente ellos siguen aquí actualmente en la escena. El próximo año se elegirá un nuevo gobernador para el estado de Arizona y esta semana hay dos posibles candidatas para el puesto. Las restricciones de viajes por carretera no esenciales entre México y Estados Unidos se han extendido un mes más. A una semana de que se reconfirmó la primera persona contagiada con la variante Omicron en los Estados Unidos, Arizona reportó el primer caso en el estado.
My photographer and I, Nick Paris, thought, what better way to show you guys how much snow we got than to actually show you how much accumulated on top of our vehicle. So we actually parked out here around 11 o'clock last night. And as you can see, we got a few inches. But I found myself a soccer ball, and we're gonna do a friendly competition. I have here Kevin and Ronan, who are representing USA, and I have here Luis and Luis, who are gonna be representing Mexico. So how excited are you guys to be out here today?
We're pumped.
This mural welcomes thousands of people to the Phoenix Convention Center, where a lot of the Super Bowl events are happening. Now, this majestic work taking Kayla Noonan 7 weeks to complete.
During the big game, when you guys are going to be doing your patrols, what is it that you're looking for? If an aircraft or general aircraft type gets too close to the stadium, we're going to identify, we're going to intercept. And before, during, and after the game, Air and Marine Operations will be monitoring the skies. We'll be flying, looking for anything that seems suspicious.
Allá enfrente, papi, enfrente.
Sebastián Ibáñez
Almost to the light.
wears many hats.
So we'll go through the sidewalk.
He's a father, a husband, and in 2015, he was forced to be an entrepreneur.
And no one would give me a job. They would see my cane and my blindness before they try to see my qualifications.
Sebastián is legally blind and partially deaf. So when money became tight, he took matters into his own hands.
Working to support my family.
He purchased brooms and mops in Mexico and began selling them on Mesa sidewalks.
During the hot weather, I sell popsicles. During the cold weather, I sell blankets.
But his business put on hold after the van he uses to move and store his goods was in an accident Wednesday. The brakes failed, and with no full coverage, it's now stalled.
Giving up is not in my vocabulary.
But this setback, just one of many challenges he's faced.
I've been hit by a car. My mops were burned outside my home. My wife has been fighting cancer for about 2 or 3 years.
He says he's also been handed counterfeit bills, had items stolen, and at the start of the year, his family was evicted. With business slow, Sebastian was also not able to pay tuition for his last semester at ASU, forcing him to delay his goal of graduating this May. But despite it all,
I am very thankful.
he doesn't complain.
I am who I am because God wants me to be. If he needs me to be a flute player, then I'll be a flute player. So if he needs me to be a blind guy with a great attitude that people are gonna look up to and learn and motivate and inspired by, then I'll be him. Ah!
He says with a smile and a cheerful outlook, anything can be overcome.
Cheer up, find a way of laughing at your situation, and never give up.
Now, if you are in need of a broom or a mop or would like to give Sebastian a helping hand, we have details on how you can contact him on 12news.com. I'm Adriana Loya, 12 News.
This is what immigration officials have been dealing with. A large number of people arriving to the border, crossing illegally. On this side, they have family units separated. These are the people who have come here with children. And on this side are the single adults. There are 2 lines about a quarter of a mile long that continues to grow by the hour. In the middle of the Arizona-Mexico border, a crowd of people waits. Why did you decide to come out here?
Porque en mi país no hay trabajo, no hay nada.
Where I'm from, we are suffering over there, no democracy.
They are migrants from all over the world, turning themselves into Border Patrol near Lookville. How long have you been waiting here?
4 días. Aquí ya 6 días sin comer.
Some of them tell us they've been here waiting to be processed between 2 to 6 days.
It's very tough. No food, no water, nothing.
The delay due in part to the large volume of people stretching immigration officials thin who can't keep up. The biggest challenge, what has it been?
The biggest challenge is transporting these people. Well, in this area in particular, it's going to be the lack of infrastructure as far as the roadways and the amount of time it takes for us to respond to an area and then to transport those people out.
Agent Martin Whelan tells me that's delayed their efforts, forcing CBP to shuffle agents from its port of entry to the field. Now, in October, Lookville saw nearly 3,100 people in vehicles and about 200 pedestrians crossing through this port of entry. As you can see, it is completely dead and quiet as agents have been rerouted to help Border Patrol. The operations here suspended until further notice.
Used to cross this border right here, but now the surprise is closed.
Catching some travelers by surprise.
It's not right. We waste time. We had to go back and find another point to cross.
It's unclear when this port of entry will reopen, but it will be at least until authorities get a handle on the flow of people here. How has this month and 4 days here been?
Very tough, very tough.
As migrants wait, they're running out of food and water, some of them somehow ordering items from Mexico that includes even baby wipes. We're going to hear from more of that at 6 o'clock. Adriana Loya, 12 News.
Se ven frecuentemente en las calles, asistiendo a conductores todos los días. Pero lo que sorprende a más de uno es que el operador de esta grúa no es un hombre. ¡Oh, una mujer! Esa es la expresión más común que Roani Colón dice recibe cuando sale a trabajar. Pero cuando entra en acción, rápidamente demuestra que remolcar autos con su grúa no es solo una labor masculina.
Soy la primera mujer en el Valle del Merrimack, propietaria y conduciendo un servicio de grúa.
Roani es mejor conocida como la patrona. Ella comenzó su carrera en esta industria en su natal Puerto Rico, pero después del devastador huracán María, ella lo perdió todo.
Y comenzar desde cero aquí, ser homeless, porque fui homeless. Fue bien duro, buscar las ayudas fue duro.
Pero tras arduo trabajo, hace un mes nuevamente logró lanzar su negocio. Esta profesión es un mundo de hombres. ¿Qué te motivó a ingresar en ella?
Pues a mí siempre me ha gustado ser diferente y demostrar que nosotras las mujeres podemos hacer cualquier tipo de trabajo.
Y con cada carro que remolca, demuestra que las mujeres pueden hacer las mismas labores que los hombres. En Lowell, Massachusetts, Adriana Loya, Noticiero Telemundo Nueva Inglaterra.
After years of having the same car, Angelica Cabrera was ready for an upgrade.
Just something a little newer, with less mileage.
When she heard of a friend who said they had a friend selling cars.
I was like, oh yeah, I want to buy a car. My little brother wants to buy a car.
She ended up making a deal for a white Honda Accord.
And then my brother chose a truck that he liked. And then my stepdad was like, oh, I want to buy a car too.
In total, the family agreed to pay $10,000 as a down payment for 2 trucks and a car, all through the same seller, Jorge Carlos Velarde. On June 7, 2021, Velarde went to Angelica's home in Mesa and got the money in cash and said the cars would arrive to their home within a week.
That weekend, the cars didn't come, and he just kept saying excuse after excuse, like, oh, the cars are not here, they're gonna take a little longer, and it just went like that for months.
No cars delivered.
I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Police reports show Velarde eventually gave back $2,800, but still owed the family $7,200. And that's the last time they heard from him.
That's when we were like, okay, this guy is scamming us.
But they weren't alone. In addition to calling the police, Angelica took to Facebook, finding other people who tried to buy similar cars from the same seller.
So I went to her post, and yeah, it was the same guy.
Were you surprised?
Yes and no. I didn't think he had done it to that many people.
Y lo puse para ver si alguien lo conocía, le dijera que me pagara, que yo necesitaba ese dinero para mis estudios.
Edna Marquez's post told an all too familiar story. She has multiple sclerosis and needs a reliable car to get to the doctor. A friend referred her to Jorge Velarde.
Él vino por mí a mi casa. Fuimos al banco, hizo la línea por mí.
Edna withdrew $5,000 in cash with Jorge's help, cash for a Jeep Cherokee that never arrived.
Y él cruzó los brazos y solo tomó ese dinero, sin importarle mi condición médica.
Edna sued, and a judge ruled in her favor, but she still hasn't received a dime. When she shared that on Facebook,
we just haven't been able to hear back from him or anything.
Lo deben de agarrar.
Dozens shared their own stories. In total, I learned of 18 victims who lost nearly $50,000 in cash and 2 cars. That's according to lawsuits and police reports. Ana Orozco, her sister and mother, gave Jorge $6,000 in cash, plus Ana's 2014 Mercedes in exchange for 3 vehicles they never got.
He's like, oh, well, my son is dying. And then after that, it was that his mom passed away.
All saying they heard excuses for weeks. Some messages they shared with 12 News.
No te imaginas, güey. Ya tenía 2 días mi jefita enferma, güey. Mi hermano tuvo un accidente anoche. Gracias a Dios está bien. Ya está acostadita, mi niño. Está en su casita.
Yo la verdad me doblé, me sentí feo. Le dije, está bien. Una semana te espero, 2 semanas.
In all cases, Velarde eventually stopped responding. 12 News made multiple attempts to reach Velarde, but were unsuccessful. However, police reports show Mesa detectives spoke with him at least 3 times. The police report states Jorge admitted to participating in the transaction, expressed remorse for his wrongdoing, and that he needed to change. Still, 18 hopeful car buyers out their cash and no new cars. And Velarde still MIA. Mesa police submitted their report to the Maricopa County attorney, who turned down the case, saying prosecutors, quote, cannot prove these transactions were criminal.
We all worked hard for that money, and it's just not fair that someone just comes in, takes your money.
A slap in the face for victims.
He needs to stop doing that, and I want him to pay for what he's done.
Now, another agency, the Office of Inspector General of Arizona, tells me they handle criminal cases involving cars and are willing to assist Mesa Police. We informed Mesa PD about this, and a spokesperson tells me they will look into it. Adriana Loya, 12 News.
All right, Adriana.